My name is Emily Anderson, and I'm 42 years old. One evening, I suddenly got a call from my husband's aunt, Mary, who is my father-in-law's sister. It was the news that my in-laws had passed away in a tragic car accident. To make matters worse, my husband Alex was away on a 2-week business trip abroad. I hurriedly tried to call him, but no matter how many times I tried, he wouldn't pick up. What should I do? I need to head to the hospital right away. When I arrived at the hospital, the siblings and relatives of my in-laws had already gathered.
Emily, we've been waiting for you. Oh, isn't Alex with you?
Well, actually, he's on a business trip abroad. I've been trying to reach him, but he's not answering. Oh, but let me try again. I made another call.
Hello.
Oh, you finally picked up? Alex, actually.
I told you not to call me. This is an important business trip.
I'm sorry, but this is even more important.
Nothing is more important than this deal. Don't call me again.
His angry voice echoed through the quiet hospital hallway, even though the call wasn't on speaker. He hung up on me after cutting off my words and venting his frustration. He said it's an important deal and hung up on me.
Well, how about trying to call his office tomorrow? If they call him, he'll probably listen to them.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll call first thing tomorrow. At the suggestion of one of the relatives, we decided to inform Alex of his parents' death through his company. The next day, amidst all the hectic events, I finally managed to call his office. However, I learned something shocking during that call. Hello, I'm Emily Anderson, Alex's wife. I'm afraid my in-laws passed away in an accident, and I'd like the company to let him know since he's abroad for business. I think he'll pick up if it's a call from work.
Business trip abroad? Actually, your husband is on an extended vacation.
Excuse me? What do you mean? He's not on his business trip abroad?
No, ma'am. We don't even have any overseas business trips at our company.
I couldn't hide my shock at such an unexpected response. Not a business trip abroad, but on vacation?
What the heck? What's going on? He's not on a business trip, so where is he now?
The main mourner missing? This is unbelievable. What am I supposed to tell the guests? We haven't even finalized the funeral plans.
That idiot! What the heck is he doing?
We have to notify the funeral service by 4 p.m. today. What should we do? As the time limit drew closer, everyone began to get frustrated. That's when Alex's cousin, Lucas, who was close to him, spoke up.
Well, Alex is in Montana right now.
What? Montana. Why would he be there? And how do you know this?
Well, sorry. He told me to keep it a secret.
Who's he with?
Well, I think he said it was someone from his work.
Don't tell me it's Irene.
Well.
Of course. While we were informing relatives about my in-laws' deaths, my sister, Irene, was unreachable. When I asked my parents, they told me she had gone on a trip to Montana with her kids. I couldn't believe it when I heard Lucas's story, but after thoroughly questioning him, we discovered that Alex and Irene were having an affair. I couldn't believe they had gone on a trip together to Montana, and that their relationship had been going on for 3 to 4 years. I had never suspected a thing.
What a disgraceful man! And to betray Emily like that, he's an absolute scoundrel.
I couldn't bear the unexpected betrayal of the two, and without caring about the timing, tears began to pour uncontrollably. Seeing me like that, Alex's aunt and the other relatives said,
That's right. Since there's no main mourner, let's hold a grand ceremony to honor the deceased. We can't let that scumbag get Chris's inheritance. Let's just use it all up right now.
And so, with her's outlandish idea, we decided to punish Alex. 2 weeks later, Alex returned home in high spirits.
I'm back. Man, I'm so tired. The jet lag is terrible.
Jet lag, huh? I handed him the divorce papers I had prepared. Here you go.
Huh? What's this?
Silence.
A divorce? Why all of a sudden?
Maybe because it was after his affair trip, Alex's face twisted in confusion as he grew nervous. You cheated with Irene, didn't you?
Huh?
Alex tried to brush it off with a nervous laugh, but I continued. Don't bother trying to hide it. I know everything.
Wait, did Irene tell you? Or was it Lucas?
Does it really matter where I heard it? What were you thinking, having an affair with my sister?
It was just a few times. You know how people say they lost control? I realized it was bad and stopped seeing her. I swear, Emily and our son, John, are the most important to me. It's all in the past. Can you forgive me?
John is our 10-year-old son. Were you even listening? I said I know everything. Do you really think you can just get away with this? That I'm just going to say, oh well, it's fine. Are you an idiot?
Geez.
So that trip to Montana, was it with Irene? You even lied about going on a business trip abroad. That's pretty bold of you.
Gosh.
You told me not to call because you knew if I called, I'd find out you were still in the country.
Damn it.
So, how long has it been going on with Irene? I heard it's been a while.
A year? Maybe a year ago.
Didn't I just tell you I know everything? It's been going on for 4 or 5 years, right?
How do you know all that? Damn it, Lucas.
Don't blame others.
I keep telling you, it was just a lapse in judgment. You're the one I love. It's just that her daughter was so cute.
Daughter, not niece.
I felt bad that she didn't have a father. I just wanted her to enjoy life. Can't you understand that?
Wait a minute. You keep saying daughter, but Irene's child is your niece, isn't she?
Oh, crap.
Seriously?
Did I just say something I shouldn't have? I mean, you said you knew everything.
I didn't know that. Is that even true? Are you seriously telling me Irene's daughter is yours and not from her previous marriage?
Well, yeah.
Are you kidding me? You had an affair and even had a child with her, and now you're telling me you still love me? That's beyond shameless. Alex is bad enough, but my sister is even worse. She betrayed me, her own flesh and blood, without a second thought, and carried on the affair for a long time. Since Alex and Irene work at the same company, I knew they were close. But I always thought it was because they were in-laws and colleagues. Both my parents and I were completely deceived, but more than feeling anger or regret, we were filled with disgust and contempt. You and Irene will both be held accountable, but we'll discuss that later. For now, there are more important things to deal with, and we have guests.
Guests?
I called in his aunt who had been waiting in the other room.
Oh, Alex, long time no see. How was your trip to Montana?
Alex looked confused as he noticed all the relatives gathered.
What's going on with everyone here?
We've got something important to talk about.
Something important.
Well, while you were gone, your parents were both killed in a car accident.
You're kidding. When did it happen?
The day after you left.
Emily, why didn't you tell me such an important thing?
I tried calling you so many times. You're the one who hung up on me. Then I called your office, and that's when I found out you weren't on a business trip abroad, but on vacation. That's also how I learned about your affair with Irene.
You called my office? You had no right to do that.
Alex, this is your fault for not answering during such an important time.
So, what about the funeral? What happened with that?
The funeral? It's long over.
We made it into a grand ceremony. Oh, but the main mourner was absent.
God damn.
Everyone thought it was suspicious.
Alex looked embarrassed and said, "Sorry, I'll take care of the rest." But everyone scolded him. "Of course you will."
Alex, you should be grateful to Emily. Even after learning the truth, she took care of everything as your wife, arranging the funeral and handling everything on her own.
As Alex's only wife, I had far too much to handle, and to be honest, I didn't even have time to mourn my in-laws. My mind was on the verge of breaking down. If it hadn't been for the help of his aunt and others, I might have been paralyzed by grief and unable to do anything. Thank you all so much. It was only possible with your support. But it really turned out to be a beautiful service, didn't it?
Yes, I'm sure both Chris and Laura are smiling from heaven. I wonder how many hundreds of people came to the party.
A party?
Yes, we made it a big event to honor your dad, who was a jazz musician.
I'm not sure I get it, but it sounds like you had fun.
Oh, it was very fun. Would you like to hear all about it? After all, as the main mourner, you're the one paying for everything. You should know what went down.
What?
The look on Alex's face was priceless. Just thinking about it makes me laugh. Then we began recounting the story of the grand funeral we held without him. We held the funeral for both in-laws together, as they were a couple who had always been close. My father-in-law, a well-known jazz musician in the country, and my mother-in-law, a former flight attendant trainer, had wide social circles, and more than 400 people attended their funeral. Since so many people showed up, we wanted to honor the deceased and hand out expensive thank you gifts to all the guests to reduce Alex's inheritance. Now, you might think that's disrespectful to the deceased, but in reality, Alex's parents had no intention of leaving him an inheritance anyway. But I'll explain that more later. I'm sure both of them are laughing up there in the sky.
What do you mean by thank you gifts?
We gave a thank you gift to everyone who came to pay their respects at the funeral.
How much did you spend on these?
Alex, clearly shrinking at the thought of footing the entire bill, asked nervously. "It's $30 a person. We got $30 worth of fancy pastry boxes from the funeral home."
Oh, it was only $30 per person.
Wait, you think $30 is cheap? We prepared 500 boxes, assuming there would be over 400 attendees.
500? So that means $30 times 500.
Yes, that's right.
That's $15,000?
Yes, exactly.
There must have been extras, right? Can't we return the leftovers?
Oh, it's too late for that. We had about 50 left, but we just ate the rest ourselves.
That sweet was really delicious, wasn't it?
It really was. The cream inside just melted in your mouth.
You idiots! How could you waste $15,000 on just some extra sweet?
Well, it's not like we had much choice. You didn't answer any of Emily's calls, so there was no way to consult with you. Besides, your parents were important people, and even though they've passed, we couldn't let them lose face, could we?
So, what was the total cost, including the ceremony?
The ceremony, with all the options, cost about $12,000. Then the return gifts were about $15,000. And now, the extra thank you gifts cost another $15,000. So in total, $42,000. Oh wait, was that before tax? If it was before tax, the total might be closer to $50,000. Haha. Alex was completely shell-shocked. He looked like a robot that had shut down. Hey, are you even listening?
Come on, this is unbelievable. How could you go ahead with all of this without consulting me?
Because you didn't answer your phone, remember?
But Uncle Tom, there's got to be some restraint.
You idiot. You have an illegitimate child with your mistress, you skipped your own parents' funeral, and you're talking about restraint? You're the one without any.
Well,
Oh, and that's not the only surprise.
Surprise, Mary.
what do you mean surprise? Please, just stop.
Well, actually, some of your dad's friends suggested hosting a farewell party for his fans. You know your dad was popular, right? A lot of his fans were probably devastated by his sudden death. They thought a party to celebrate his life would be the perfect way to say goodbye.
And then,
His friends were all for it too. They were excited to do a jam session of his greatest hits. How could we turn that down?
and did you do it?
Of course.
That's something you should have waited for me to come back for. You could have held a farewell party anytime.
Well, the musicians were on tour, so the only available date was last week.
This is insane. Absolutely unreal.
Actually, the real story was a little different. The real conversation between my father-in-law's friend Mike and I went like this.
Are you planning a farewell party for his fans? I'm sure both he and his fans would love it.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. Knowing Chris's personality, I'm sure he'd be thrilled.
Great, then leave the party to us. We'll handle everything, including the costs, so it won't be any trouble for your family.
Wait, hold on a second. My husband, Alex, who is their son, will cover all the costs. But in exchange, we'd like to hold the party next weekend.
Next weekend? Well, I guess that's fine, but okay, sure.
Thank you. Even though I threw them a curveball, they quickly posted the event on my father-in-law's website, invited musicians, and got the party preparations moving.
So how much did the party cost?
Alex, how many times do we have to tell you? You're in no position to take that tone with Emily. You were off on an affair while your parents were being laid to rest.
Geez, you're an annoying Auntie Mary.
Did you say something?
No, nothing.
Anyway, Alex, aren't you even a little curious about what happened at the party?
I don't care. Just tell me how much it cost.
Since Alex clearly didn't want to hear about the party, let me explain. Despite the short notice, nearly 1,000 people showed up. We prepared a variety of party foods and champagne for the guests, while musicians who were my father-in-law's friends performed his greatest hits, allowing everyone to reminisce about my in-laws. Some people placed flowers in front of the photos, while others listened to the musicians' performances, each honoring the deceased in their own way. As we had announced on the website, we asked guests not to bring money or gifts, only flowers. I hate to say it myself, but organizing the funeral, booking the party venue, and handling all the preparations in such a short time really made me feel proud of what I accomplished. As for the total cost, well, the musicians, who were friends of my father-in-law, refused to accept any payment, including equipment costs. The venue, drinks, and foods totaled $50,000. Of course, the contract was all in Alex's name. Do you just want to know the total cost?
Yeah, just tell me now.
$50,000.
That's $50,000 too? And is that including tax?
Alex was probably so numb to everything at that point. The only thing he was worried about in a situation like this was whether the cost was before or after tax. Not only me, but his aunt and the other relatives were also doing their best to hold back their laughter.
So, that's a total of $100,000. Do I even have that kind of money? If I get divorced after this, I'm finished.
Divorce? Oh, of course we're getting divorced. Don't expect any sympathy from me.
Yeah, I figured.
You could almost hear a whoosh sound, like air leaking out of Alex, just like in an anime. Hey, even though you're the one who has to pay, you're aware there's an inheritance, right?
The inheritance. Right, I'll just use that to cover it.
Hearing this, Alex perked up, and he began talking with the other relatives about the future plans. Later, we officially divorced. Since I had already consulted a lawyer before Alex returned, the process of dividing assets and discussing alimony didn't take more than 2 weeks to settle. I was feeling a bit sentimental, thinking about starting a new life with just my son, when I suddenly got a panicked call from Alex.
Emily, please help me.
What's wrong? Why are you so flustered?
I don't have enough money for the burial ceremony. Since we have to bury them separately, it's going to cost about $5,000 to $6,000. Please, just this once, lend me some money.
How do you not have any money? Didn't you receive $100,000 in the asset division? And I haven't even gotten the alimony yet. What did you spend it all on?
I paid the funeral home and the party venue right after that. Andy said, your parents had a reputation to uphold, so don't be stingy and pay everything in full right now. They wouldn't leave me alone about it.
That sounds exactly like Mary. So, were the funeral costs before or after tax?
With tax included, but that's not important right now. I went to the bank to withdraw from my parents' inheritance and the account's frozen.
Oh right, I had the account frozen, didn't I?
They said with the inheritance process, it'll take a little over a month before I can withdraw the money. That won't be in time for the burial ceremony.
I didn't even need to contact the bank myself, but out of spite after hearing about his affair, I had them freeze Alex's accounts. And I had totally forgotten about it. Oh really? That's tough. What a problem. Why don't you borrow the money from Irene?
Huh? You won't lend it to me?
Of course not. You and I are no longer related. I was really close to your parents, but you're nothing to me. If I saw you in a supermarket, I wouldn't even nod. I can't lend money to someone like that.
What the hell? That's harsh. Fine, whatever.
I don't know what happened after that, but just when I thought I was finally free from all the chaos, Alex called again, over and over.
Emily, why is my parents' inheritance only $100,000? My dad was a famous musician and mom was a former flight attendant. There's no way they only had $100,000. You must have withdrawn money before you had the account frozen, right?
Don't accuse me of something like that. Even if I did, it would be discovered during the inheritance process. I'm not some kind of thief. Well, I did check the balance before freezing it.
So then why is that all there is?
Didn't you know? Your parents had been sending $30,000 every year for John's education.
What?
Oh, you didn't know? I thought for sure you did. Of course, Alex didn't know. His parents had made sure to keep it a secret from him. It was about 10 years ago, right after I gave birth to John, their first grandchild. Alex's parents were overjoyed and suddenly said something unexpected.
Emily, thank you so much for giving us such a beautiful grandson.
Given how Alex is, we never thought we'd see the day we'd have a grandchild.
And well, there's something we've been talking about for years.
What?
Alex has always been careless with money. Even when we gave him an allowance as a kid, he blew it all in one day. That didn't change as he got older. There were times he spent his whole paycheck and asked me to lend him money.
Really? Oh no, did I really marry someone like that?
So we decided that if Alex ever got married and had kids, we'd use all our savings for our grandchild.
Emily, you're such a good person. You're bright, observant, and you've gotten along with everyone in the family so well. You're also incredibly responsible. We trust you with our wishes.
Wait, I'm not sure I understand.
Well, to put it simply, we're not planning to leave Alex any inheritance. We want it all to go toward our grandchild's education.
But if Alex inherits the money, wouldn't it naturally go to that purpose?
Oh, Emily, you're too sweet. Alex would blow it on something ridiculous, like a boat.
Wait, really? This is starting to sound a little scary.
It's not that we don't love him. It's because we know how he is that we can't give him the money. We're doing this because we care about him. If we hand over the money, it'll ruin him. That's why we're entrusting it to you, Emily.
Thank you, but what will Alex say?
You can't tell him. He'll throw a tantrum like a little kid.
My in-laws were a bit forceful, but I was truly grateful for their generous offer. From that point on, they deposited $30,000 into John's account every year on his birthday.
$30,000 every year? So how much is in John's account now?
Well, after taxes, it's a little over $250,000.
What? That's my inheritance. That money belongs to me.
No, your parents specifically said they weren't leaving you any inheritance because you're too reckless with money. They wanted it to be used for John's education.
There's no way my dad said that. You're stealing it, aren't you?
Sure, if you don't believe me, why don't you ask the bank to issue you a statement?
Wait a minute. Even with what's in the bank, there's only about $400,000 total. That doesn't add up.
Alex, you really don't know anything, do you? Your parents donated about $300,000 to some organization. They said they were using the remaining $300,000 for their own enjoyment. The $100,000 left is what's remaining from that. Alex's parents had been very involved in end-of-life planning, especially his dad, who, being a musician, had this bizarre slogan about having a stylish and rebellious exit from life.
I'm not going to use up $1 million in the rest of my life. So let's share the wealth and spread happiness.
That's how they'd been distributing their assets well before they passed. By now, you've probably gathered that Alex isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. For better or worse, this is something he inherited from his dad. But while his dad was charming, playful, and had a great sense of style, Alex is, well, just foolish.
So wait, does that mean I'm not getting any inheritance at all?
Yeah, pretty much. And considering all the small expenses, you will be in debt.
Oh no.
The price of infidelity is high, isn't it?
What does that have to do with the inheritance?
Oh, nothing really. And with that, my revenge on my clueless, sleazy ex-husband was complete. But I couldn't forget about my sister's punishment. So, I took a bold step and called her ex-husband.
Oh, it's been a while, Emily. Why did we divorce? It was her infidelity. She had affairs with several men, and she wasn't even sure whose child it was.
Wait, there were others besides Alex.
I wanted a DNA test, but she refused. Even now, I still miss my daughter. Whether or not she's biologically mine, I wanted to raise her, but I just couldn't forgive Irene.
Of course, you couldn't. I didn't want to hurt my former brother-in-law, Ryan, any more than he already was, so I kept quiet about Alex being one of the potential fathers. But now I had uncovered a new piece of information, and I wasn't going to let it go to waste. Still, I didn't want to do anything that would hurt my parents, so I needed to find a way to keep the punishment from reaching them. That's when I decided to call Alex again. Hey, Alex.
Hey, what's up? Miss me already? Want to get back together? Well, I guess I can't blame you.
Actually, I found out something new. Want to know or not?
What's this all of a sudden?
Irene's daughter might not even be your child.
Wait, did you seriously call just to tell me that? I already know she's either my kid or her ex-husband's. Big deal.
No, you don't get it. There's another possible father. Ryan told me, so it's legit.
Are you kidding me? I've been played this whole time? What a slut!
Well, you too. With that, I felt my punishment for my sister was complete. This news would completely wreck whatever was left between Irene and Alex. This rumor will probably spread as far as Africa. As expected, Irene's behavior spread throughout the company, and she ended up quitting because of it. And as for that idiot Alex, everyone at the office figured out his involvement, and he became the subject of cold stares from everyone. 5 years have passed since then. John is turning 16 this year. Thanks to the money his grandparents left him, he was able to get into a prestigious private high school. I've since remarried and am enjoying a happy, peaceful life. Alex, on the other hand, hasn't changed a bit. While he still pays child support and alimony on time, without me managing the finances, he spends most of his paycheck the day he gets it. Our son once told me about a visit to Alex's place.
Dad said, tonight's a feast, so I got excited. But all we had was instant noodles and some fried chicken from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Well, at least they seem to be having fun spending time together as father and son. As for Irene, she's still the same. She seems to still be hunting for men to rely on for her livelihood. Since then, I haven't spoken to Irene once, and I have no intention of ever speaking to her again. Our parents are troubled by the rift between us, but I've chosen to stay silent. Every year, I make sure to visit my in-laws' graves. Knowing them, they're probably laughing themselves silly watching the comedy that's become our lives.